because there was an update on TCG Live. And I guess before we talk about what they changed, we can talk about what broke. And it looks like quite a few things broke. Shout out, as
Mm,
always, to our resident TCG Live expert, Trust Your Pilot. Um,
shut up,
yeah,
pilot.
using any ability that interacts with energy cards from the discard pile just breaks the game right now, it looks like.
Yeah. So that includes some pretty big ones, including Magneton, which has been in the I guess like Miraidon's like the big new hype deck or the big deck that's gaining a ton of popularity right now. And then one that's been around for a little while that people have been playing is Archaludon as well. So some big cards. I guess can you use Gardevoir? I mean, Gardevoir wasn't mentioned in the suite, I
I
don't
don't know.
think.
Yeah,
But
Gardevoir wasn't mentioned here, and I heard people talking about how Gardevoir still takes forever to use, so it
yeah,
must still work. So whatever broke here probably has to do with ability just automatically placing energy into play. Whereas
yeah.
Gardevoir, it like doesn't you have to do it manually, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So it's kind of a bummer to see this happening. I mean, this is like one thing we were even talking about recently where it feels like these things don't happen anymore. It felt like.
Yeah.
I mean, on
Oops.
release day, I guess I would say one thing as well, like on release day or big patch days. This is a big patch. Was a big patch. They do sometimes still happen. They do generally fix it pretty fast, though. I will say that. Like, I feel like even by tomorrow, we could see this fixed.
And then I guess there's kind of two things to talk about here in regards to I mean, I guess we can just mention so we did talk about these things last week, but they have officially added the ability to mute your opponent in a game. It's just a simple click of a button makes it so that you
Yeah.
don't get spammed with emotes.
I
And
wish
then
that
when
was
you're
a. I would say I wish that was a global setting. Um, like you could like do it in the settings before you even queue up a game, where you can just like mute opponent's emotes. I don't want to have to do this every game, right? It's not that big of a deal. This is actually one of those situations where I feel like Pokemon could theoretically be a step ahead because if I remember correctly, and it probably is still this way, in Hearthstone, you have to mute your opponent every single game if you want to mute them. Hey, Pokemon could have had something where they're like a step ahead of the other games, but yeah, that'd be nice to have like a global setting for that, possibly.
then you can now challenge a friend to a match and choose to turn off timers. And what's interesting here is it's under a box called custom match settings. So that makes me a little hopeful, you know. It might not mean much, but like a box for custom match settings could mean there's more future custom match settings coming up. Could be potential to play like older formats on TCG Live, something like that, older rule sets, things like
I
that.
think
That's something that
the
people always wanted in TCG Online.
I think the big one would be to be able to play a best two out of three
Sure.
match. That would be pretty nice to have for online tournaments. So that'd be really cool. And I will say, well, honestly, like turning off the timer is kind of removed from the idea of what I guess not too much because like the idea of using this as a simulator to test, I think that's like a core. That would be like what I'll make the list of like things that they intend the client to be made for. Playing in online tournaments, I'm sure they're aware of them when they made the client. Um, but the best 2 out of 3 challenge thing isn't something that, like, necessarily fits probably the criteria of what they were made PTCG Live for, but it would be a good gesture to the community to add that to the game to make online tournaments a little bit easier, I would say. So it'd be nice to have them add that in there eventually.
So here's some more details on the click to place update. We talked about it last week. We didn't know exactly what it would be. They said in the patch notes like to see news for more details. We looked on the website, we couldn't find the news, but I think they meant the news in game, like this right here
Oh, yeah.
is probably what that means. So here's the new click to place cards. You can left click a card instead of having to drag it to a location. So click from the bench, drag it to the active spot. You can
Yeah.
click the Pokemon on the bench, drag it to the active spot. I don't know if it's a setting you
I mean,
turn
you can then
on.
click the active spot. You can click it and then click.
Yeah, is that not what I said?
Yeah, you said click and then drag.
Oh, I said the same thing twice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I
Yeah.
saw this active, like, and now you can also, like so if you click also the highlight looks different as well from the clip that I saw. Like, if you click Drakloak, your Dreepies will highlight, and then you have to click on a Dreepy, basically. So I like the and it sounds like you can still do both, so it's kind of just, like, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I'm excited to be able to go click, click instead of the click drag.
Yep, it's
So
faster.
yeah, yeah, it's faster, it's more intuitive, so that's a nice change. This is what we kinda talked about last week is just that there seems like they're finally getting to all of the quality of life updates. It feels like they've maybe finally figured out the process of adding new cards, be able to fix bugs faster. Even though we saw all these bugs pop up with this big update, we'll see how fast they get fixed. Now we're getting these quality of life updates, which are sorely needed. Is that the word? Is that the phrase I'm looking for? They're just needed. They're very much needed. There's still a
Definitely.
lot to go though. Like as long as stuff like Gardevoir's ability exists the way it does, and also they ruined Baxcalibur's ability. I'm pretty sure. Like it was so good, but they made it worse somehow. I don't even know how they made it worse. Um, but yeah, they still have a long way to go, but they're finally getting to the quality of life updates.
Easier cancellations. Many card interactions can now be canceled by clicking on an unused area of the screen. That's a pretty nice one. You don't have to just go
Yeah,
click in the top corner every time.
this came up a lot. I assume this is gonna correct this. This came up a lot with Area Zero. Like, when Area Zero got bumped, you could, like, click on a Pokemon and then click, like, view screen to see everything, and then you click go back, and you couldn't deselect the Pokemon you'd clicked. Also, it would be highlighted as if it wasn't selected. So, if you forgot which Pokemon you clicked, you just don't know what you clicked, and then
Yeah.
everything looks like it can be clicked again. So, hopefully that fixed that kind of interaction. But I haven't played on PTCG Live yet since the update, so I don't know for sure.
And this is, I think, the one that's generated the most conversation. This is not something that was mentioned in the patch notes because it isn't something that has been changed just yet, but it's like an announcement of a coming change in the future. And the cards pictured here are Journey Together cards. So this could be a change coming. Oh, it does say with the release of Journey Together, this is what's going to happen. So let me just read through this. Upcoming overnumbered card exchanging update. With the upcoming release of Scarlet and Violet Journey Together on Pokemon TCG Live March 27th, 2025, we're introducing new ways to earn rare cards while updating how these cards can be exchanged to create a more balanced and engaging experience for all trainers. At that time, cards in Scarlet and Violet Journey Together and future expansions classified as overnumbered will be eligible for trade credit exchange once 6 months have elapsed from that card's release date. There will be no change to any previous expansions. So overnumbered cards are just cards that have a higher number, a higher rarity number than the set number. So secret
Yeah.
illustration rares, shiny ultra rares, all that stuff. So
Does this
basically like on set release, you could go pick the highest rarity of any card you wanted and instantly craft it if you had the credits or exchange tickets for it. Not going to be the case anymore.
are they just trying to, like, bring some, like, reason to open packs, basically?
Yeah, I mean maybe that is it. Cuz to be honest, like you like so many people who have like played the game since release, like you've never since you played started playing TCG Live have had to worry about pack credits, correct? Or credits or whatever they're
Yeah,
called.
basically.
They've changed the name of them now.
I just did the celebrations thing, and then I've been good since then.
Yeah, like there's and you don't go for the high rarity stuff,
Yeah.
but I'd be willing to wager like even if you were going for the high rarity stuff, it would probably be the same thing as much as you like play the game, right? And I don't play nearly as much as a lot of people do,
Yeah.
but and I do grab the like illustration rares of cards sometimes, not always, but sometimes, depending on if I like it or not or whatever. And I've never had to worry about how many credits I have. I don't know that I've ever dipped below 150,000 trade tickets or whatever they're called now. Um, so I think that the system was obviously very broken and they're trying to find a way to change it, but it just feels bad that it's been something that has been in the game since the beginning and now they're taking it away. That's like the thing that anytime
Yeah.
something gets taken away, it's never a good look for like the community.
Yeah. Usually only wanna be, like, giving people stuff. Or, like, I guess sometimes balancing stuff does lead to, like, taking something away, like, if something's, like, too easy to craft or something. But I guess I just don't know what the goal just has to be that they want people to open packs, right? Whether that be with submitting codes into PTCG Live or using their
Sure.
currency, whatever it's called now, to buy packs in the actual client to open them, right? That's the only thing that makes sense here. Is they're just trying to prompt people to like open packs in PTCG Live. Um, yeah, but they said we're also introducing new ways to earn rare cards while updating how these cards can be exchanged to create a more balanced and engaging experience for all trainers.
So I wonder if it'll
They
be
haven't told
more
us
like
how we can earn them, right?
some sort of challenges or something like that, similar
Yeah.
to the battle pass challenges, something along those lines,
Maybe they're gonna
maybe.
try and do more with that. If they just find more engaging ways to acquire them, I guess that would be fine, right?
I will say, like this past, or this is it the current ladder still? I think it's the current battle pass still. Um, if you get to like like through if you work through the course of the battle pass, they basically give you a max rarity Regidrago V Star deck,
Yeah. I
which
mean,
is
they give
pretty
you a
cool.
lot, dude. They give
They
you like the game is super free to play. Like it's
Yeah.
very, very free to play. So I don't mind this too much, to be honest. The game is already so free to play. If they want to, I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. But if they're trying to incentivize people to stay in the client more, right? If they want people to play the client more besides just completing the dailies or something like that, I don't hate this if that's what they're going for here, which is might be they're maybe trying to like gain some retention here, right? By being like, we're gonna add new side quests or something like that to get people to play for the high rarity cards. Yeah, I don't think that's terrible with how already free to play the game is. Yeah, I don't hate this. We
Yeah,
saw Jake's tweet or Jake's response down there made me think about, like, is like, this would lead was a code card lobbyists 1.
yeah.
Um, so I don't mind this, to be honest. I don't mind them taking back a little bit of what they gave us because it is so free to play at this point or minimal
And
investment required.
and you will still be able to play the base like, you will still be able to craft the base rarity versions of these cards, it looks like.
Yeah, they're just taking away the super
So you can
high rarity
still
stuff.
play the deck without ever crafting anything, but it's giving you something to play for. Yeah, I don't think this is terrible, which might be I don't know. It is just always a bad look whenever they take something away. And people love to call us TPCI
Is
apologists.
That's all it is, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna definitely get that a little bit here. But I think like if you just kind of rationally think about it from a business point of view,
Yeah, but I will say, I feel like a lot of that pushback always comes from people viewing everything very selfishly. It's always just like me, me, me. But like you need to slow down sometimes and just like think about stuff from like their perspective, what they're trying to do, so on and so forth. And listen, I've complained as more about PTCG Live or as much about PTCG Live as anyone else. So it's not
yeah,
like I'm someone who's praising the game constantly or anything. But I think always slowing down and just trying to like see it from a different angle, different perspective. Um, is always good, a good way to approach kind of just life in general, to be honest. So.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think like I said, this is just a byproduct of the fact that the the game was made without any sort of like in-game economy being considered
Yeah,
basically at all. It feels like
and they
very
did just
little consideration was given to this, and so it's just been broken from the beginning.
yeah, and they did change all that currency stuff recently as well.
Yeah.
They made that big shift over, so they didn't quite have it all figured out either.